Hello, Jaap. When did you first encounter the Ursonate by Kurt Schwitters?
It was in 1979. Actually, it was in Arnhem, where I live now, but I didn't live there then. I was reading my poetry. I was writing some relatively conventional poetry at the time, and there was a literary event, and there was one student of the Arnhem Drama School who read the Ursonate, and later on I heard that one of the teachers of the school used it as a study material for the theatre students, and so that's how I first heard the piece, and I immediately thought, well, that's great. I want to have that piece, and so I photocopied it at the Utrecht University Library.
And when you say you wanted that piece, when did you first start to commit it to memory?
I didn't have any intention to commit it to memory, but I tremendously enjoyed reciting parts of it over the course of about 3 years, I think. And so it was 1982 when it happened that. Meanwhile, I had been talking to some friends about it, and one of them asked me, why don't you perform it at my birthday party coming up. So there was some time when I put some extra effort in it, and because I knew I almost had it by memory already, sort of by very often doing sections of it and over again, and yeah.
Do you find it becomes more of a performance because you know it by heart, or could you do a similar performance by reading the score?
No, it's much more of a performance, and there's one thing there's parts of the score I couldn't even read at the speed that I performed them at, and then also, of course, then you're tied to a specific point of, well, you cannot really move from it and have to look at it all the time. No, it's much more of a performance when you have it memorized.
And can I ask, how do you memorize it? Do you have the score, as it were, photographed in your mind, or do you do it by movement as well?
Partly I think it's also stored in my speech apparatus, and I don't usually see the score literally when I perform it, although I sometimes have the image of a whole page of the score, and I see, well, I'm about there now, and that helps to on a larger scale to keep the structure of the piece in mind.
When you perform the piece, do you have a sort of an end point that you're reaching for, or is it something that you discover each time you do it?
Well, there's many sort of climaxes in sections that I know I'm working towards, and but yeah, still every performance is different, and the length of pauses will be different depending on how I feel the connection to the audience, depending on the acoustics of a place. Yeah.
And as a piece that's now become something that's as much a part of you, really, isn't it? It's your piece.
Yeah.
What's your favourite part of the score? Is there a particular piece that you'd think sums up Schwitters' work in a sort of a little miniature package?
Yeah, I think my favourite movement is the scherzo, the third movement. This begins with the very fast oka 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 and so on, and then it's as a traditional form of a scherzo is an ABA form. So the B part is the trio, and there it's at äußerst langsam vorzutragen, extremely slow. And of course you can stretch that as much as you want, and I've done it also really extremely, so and so that it would be the thing would be like 3, 4, 5 minutes or so, and then there's the very short fast part, again not less than half a minute, So.
And is it because you're also a musician, which you are? What instrument do you play?
I used to play saxophone, and that was my first instrument, but only when I was about 20, and yeah. And so, but I quit playing saxophone almost 20 years ago, but still it was important for forming like a breath support, I think, and also for musicianship. I learned to read music and so on, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you. The performance that we saw in York was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So
thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for coming, and thank you for having this short interview as well.
Yeah.
That's grand. Thank you.